Let me know when it comes up.
It says live. Let me take a look. Yep, there you go.
Share the screen.
It says live. Let me take a look.
All right. Okay. Oh, okay, I know that's not okay.
Yep, there you go.
Share the screen.
It says
got it. You gotta remember to turn off the internet portion. All right. And let me do this here. Floating control. Let's start. All right. Mr. Kyle, we're going to be talking about, today's talk is going to be about double-minded. This is something that, as I was doing some reading and all the lessons that I've been hearing and the things that have been introspective, I realized when I was in the world, how double-minded I was there. As I would say, I call the world, I was in the church. Right? And I would call myself you would say that you was a saint and a sinner all at the same time. You had this dualistic personality or dualistic ways about you. And it was almost just widely accepted. We weren't really grounded in anything. And you're searching for something, but you don't really know what you're looking for, right? So we're going to talk about double-mindedness and the dangers of it and the very aspects of it. And here we go. Double-minded. Looking at James 1, 5-8. If any of you lack wisdom, right? If you lack wisdom, let him ask of Elohim that giveth to all men liberally and upbrighteth not. He don't reprove you for it. He doesn't reprimand you. If you need something, just ask the Father. And it shall be given him. But let him ask in faith, not wavering. For he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea driven with the wind and tossed. For let not that man think that he shall receive anything of Yahuah. A double-minded man or person, right, is unstable in all his ways. So when I looked up double-minded, right, double-minded was a sense of being inconsistent and even fickle, right, in their behavior, unstable, not trustworthy, always shifting about. They're always doubting, constantly questioning, never really sure. Don't think that you can get anything from the Father if you don't have utmost confidence in his word. And I didn't say in his prophet or in his teacher, in his word. Remember that. Let's go forward. Gone with the wind, right? Ephesians 4:14, continue this little theme. That we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine. So once upon a time, we were children of disobedience. And any new thing that came out, we was on it. I mean, any new thing. Every year they came up with a catchphrase. Every year. And guess what? You was saying that catchphrase. You was too blessed to be stressed and so and so and so and so and so and so. All kinds of little catchphrases and things. Some was jumping from one religious system to the next in search of something, right? We've all been there. We should be no more children tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine, by the sleight of men and the cunning craftiness whereby they lie in wait to deceive. Now, that's a whole lesson in itself about these men. But to continue on, Isaiah 57 and 20 and 21. But the wicked, so we see these children of disobedience, right? The children, these no more these children, they're wicked, are like the wind, like the troubled sea, when it cannot rest, whose waters cast up mire and dirt. There is no peace, says Elohim, to the wicked. So we shouldn't be that way anymore. When we come into the knowledge of the truth, we should be able to say, okay, Father, I trust you. You led me this far. You're going to lead me all the way. And all I got to do is be obedient and follow your lead. So when you see the word for tossed to and fro, right, that word there talks about fluctuation in opinion. So you run around and you're trying to find, you come into the truth and you got all these voices out there saying different things, and you don't know which one is right or which one is wrong, you don't have any knowledge. You're just excited to be here. And so you start taking on information. But then all of a sudden you find yourself doubting if this might be right or wrong, because you're constantly listening to various people and you're saying, well, this guy sounds like he knows more than this one over here and this one over here. You're not really being led by the Ruach. You're kind of being led by your ears and by your intellect. So we don't want to be done. We don't want to do that. We want to say, Father, I trust you. I believe in your word, and you're going to place me where you need me to be, where you want me to be in the confines of your body, where you want to place me, so that I may learn and grow. And our job is what? To desire the sincere milk of the word, right? That's all believers. I don't care how old you are. To constantly seek after that knowledge, to seek the Father for that sincere word. You just constantly love that milk, because you're going to be growing and your understanding is going to be fruitful. All right. Because, like I said, this tossed about to and fro, right? So for there's going to be times when there will a time come when they will not endure sound doctrine. But after their own lust, they shall heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. And they shall turn away their ears from the truth and turn unto fables. Something that sounds good to me. Something that's going to answer the question that I've been wanting to know. Something that's going to scratch my intellect. That's not what we should be chasing after. We should be chasing to understand more about the truth of Yah's word. We don't want to be double-minded about his word, what he said. Of course, we're always seeking clarity, but we're going to get into that later about the tools that he's given us for that. All right. We've heard this before, mouth and heart connection. Luke 6:45. A good man out of the good treasures of his heart bringeth forth that which is good, and an evil man out of the evil treasures of his heart bringeth forth that which is evil. All right. For of the abundance of the heart, his mouth speaketh. Siri says, will not with every wind. Here we go with this wind again. Right. And go not into every way. For so doeth the sinner that has what? A double tongue. So this heart and this double mind and this double tongue kind of go together. We don't want to be going around in every single way trying to figure out, oh, well, I'm going to jump from here to here, I'm going to jump to here to there. Don't do that. You're not going to ever grow. You're never going to be stable. You're going to always have constant questions that they're never going to get answered. Or at least you're going to be different answers. And all of them may be correct, because if you look at them as a whole, now so someone might just be flat out wrong, but you'll know that if you stay steady for a while, because the Ruach is going to reveal those things. Right? He said, be steadfast in thy understanding, and let thy word be the same. The words that you speak, let them be the same. Be swift to hear and let thy life be sincere, and with patience give answer. If thou hast understanding, answer thy neighbor. If not, lay thy hand upon thy mouth. Some people just so quick to answer everything. I know the answer. I got it. But if you don't really know it, don't say anything. It's best to be quiet. Honor and shame is in talk, and the tongue of a man is his fall. We see that over in James. But be not called a whisperer, and lie in wait with thy tongue, for a foul shame is upon the thief, and an evil condemnation upon the double tongue. We're going to see this double tongue theme throughout. This double heart, double mind, double heart, double tongue. Proverbs 18:21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. You got to be careful what you say out of your mouth. You got to be careful what you say out of your mouth, because you don't know how it's affecting everyone else. Who's in the room? Who's listening? Continue on with the tongue and the heart and the tongue. Tehillim or Psalms 12:1. Help, Yahuah, for the righteous man or the godly man ceases, for the faithful fail from among the children of men. They speak vanity, every one with his neighbor, with flattering lips, and with a double heart do they speak. Everybody don't have pure motivations when they're talking. When they come to you flattering and telling you how nice you look, or how much knowledge in the word you have, or how much they enjoy you teaching, or how they enjoy this and enjoy that. They always have, there's a motive, there might be a motive behind their talk. So you have to have awareness of that, discernment. But we don't want to have that double heart when we speak. Psalms 15:1-5. Why? Because Yahuah, who shall abide in thy tabernacle? And who shall dwell in thy set apart hill, commonly called holy? He that walketh uprightly, that worketh righteousness, and speak the truth, where? In his heart. He that backbiteth not with his tongue. He's not going around spreading malicious language, lies about his brothers and sisters. Nor doeth evil to his neighbor, nor taketh up a reproach against his neighbor. He don't instigate nothing against his neighbor. He doesn't say anything disparaging against his neighbor. In whose eyes a vile person is contempt. But he honors them that fear Yahuah. And this is the one that I want to get to. He that sweareth to his own hurt and changes not. So if he promises you something, or he tells you he's going to do something, and he said, I vow this to you, I'm going to do this right here, then he's going to make sure he gets it done, unless there's extremely extenuating circumstances, and that person's going to try to contact you and say, hey, this came up and I just couldn't I am so sorry, and I'll make it up to you. But he's going to do whatever he can. Even if he said, I'm going to give you some money, and it's his very last, he's going to do it, even though he might be starving. Because he just trusts Yah. He said, Father, I said I was going to do this, and here it is the day I'm supposed to do it, and this is all I have. So I said I was going to do it, I'm going to do it. He that putteth not out his money to usury, nor taketh reward against the innocent, he that doeth these things shall never be what? Moved. So we always got to be careful what we say, right? Matthew 5:37. So when you do answer someone, let your communications be yea, yea, nay, nay. For whatsoever is more than these cometh of evil. Why? Because you might say something that you didn't really think through all the way. You might make an obligation. So either you can do it or you can't. You will or you won't. If you can't do it, don't say nothing at all. If it's just an open question and it's up to you to answer it, and you say, well, let me think on this for a while. I don't really know if I want to do it or not. But if you know you don't want to do it, say no, I don't have time for it. I don't want to do it. But if you do want to do it, say yes. All right. Ecclesiastes 5:2. Be not rash with thy mouth, and let not thy heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and thou upon the earth. Therefore let thy words be what? Few. Let thy words be few. All right. An imperfect heart. Give an example of an imperfect heart. Right. Lamadyahu, this is 2 Chronicles 25, and we're going to do a little reading. Lamadyahu was 25 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 29 years in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Yohanan and of Jerusalem. And he did that which was right in the sight of Yahuah, but not with a perfect heart. Now, I know when we see perfect, a lot of times we think it's automatically tamim, but this word is not tamim. This name is salam, right? And it's to mean to be finished, to complete, to be at peace, to fulfill. He didn't do everything into Yahuah with his whole heart, with his complete heart. He was half-hearted in everything. I have to ask myself, am I half-hearting this job? Am I half-hearting my assignment to Yahuah in my studies, in my prayers? Am I half-hearted in the ministry of song? Am I half-hearting with the people that you've put me with? I don't want to be that way. All right. You say, continue on. I'm going to drop down to the 14th verse. Now it came to pass after that Lamadyahu was come from the slaughter of the Edomites. There was another battle. He had some instructions. He didn't really follow them. Another tribe turned against him and did some damage, but we skip down to this part here. He returned from the slaughter that he brought, and he brought the mighty ones, right? The gods of the children of Seir, and set them up to be his mighty ones. Now, this is a man, he says, his imperfect heart. He does what's right in the sight of Yahuah, maybe, kinda. At least that's what the people see, maybe. But he didn't do it with his whole heart. So here you got an example of here, he's setting up the mighty ones of others to be his idols, and he bowed down himself before them and burnt incense unto them. Oh, he's really violating the commandments now. Wherefore, the anger of Yahuah was kindled against Lamadyahu, and he sent unto him a prophet. Right? This is what prophets are for. They're gonna, he's gonna give a word and he's gonna say, hey, go warn this knucklehead to straighten up. Which said unto him, why hast thou sought after the mighty ones of the people, which could not deliver their own people out of your hands? Why would you take their mighty ones, whom you just conquered, to be your mighty? And their mighty one couldn't even save you out of your hands. It don't make any sense. What are you doing? And it came to pass, as he talked with him, that the king said unto him, art thou made of king's counsel? Are you trying to counsel me? Forbear, why shouldest thou be smitten? I should kill you. Then the prophet forbade and said, I know that Elohim has determined to destroy thee, because thou hast done this, and hast thou not hearkened to my counsel. Imperfect heart, half-hearted. And then when you get a chance, the real you come out. Without heart and a divided heart. Hosea 7:8-11. Ephraim, he has mixed himself among the people. Ephraim is a cake not turned. Now, if you ever baked a cake, or even if you're baking flatbread, sweet bread, then unleavened, and you don't turn it over, what happens to it? It burns up. It's ruined. All right? That's what happens. He said, these strangers have devoured his strength, and he knows it not. Yea, gray hairs are here, and there upon him, yet he knoweth it not. He's getting older. He don't even realize it. His strength is devoured. He doesn't even realize it. And the pride of Israel testifies to his face. And they do not return to Yahuah the Elohim, nor seek him for all this. You see, Ephraim is like a silly dove. Why a silly dove? It's like all you have to do is set a snare trap, and you can catch your dove. It doesn't take much to snare this particular bird. Like a silly dove without heart. In other words, he's lacking discernment. He doesn't know who his real friends are. He doesn't know where his real strength comes from. We don't want to be like that, not knowing where our strengths are. And they call to Egypt, and they call to Assyria. In other words, they start reaching out to other nations to seek deliverance for themselves, to seek aid. They're looking to the systems of the world to deliver them out of the situation they're in. What can we do in order for us to make our situation better? What can we do to get to make our rights be respected? Let's call Egypt. Let's call Assyria. Let's get involved in the politics over here. We need to do this, and we need to empower ourselves. Silly dove, lacking discernment. Hosea 10, 1 and 2. He says, Israel is an empty vine, an empty vine. He brings forth fruit unto himself. According to the multitude of his fruit, he has increased the altars. According to the goodness of his land, they have made goodly images. He said, their heart is divided, right? A divided heart. They're torn between serving Elohim and following the ways of the other nations and being like the others, wanting to be accepted to the rest of the nations around them, want to kind of blend in, heart being divided. Now shall they be found faulty, right? It shall be found faulty. And he shall break down their altars. He shall spoil their images. A divided heart. We don't want to have a divided heart when it comes to the Most High. He says that we should love Yahuah Elohim with all of our heart, soul, and strength. A heart far removed. Isaiah 29 and 13. Wherefore Yahuah said, for as much as this people draw near me with their mouth, with their lips do honor me, but have removed their heart far from me, and their fear towards me is taught by the precepts of men. All we're doing is lip service. But he sees that a heart is not, that's a double-minded person. This is the epitome of double-mindedness. You saying, praise Yahuah, hallelujah. Oh, I love you, Yahuah. But your very actions show something very opposite of that. The way you treat people shows the very opposite of that. The way you talk to each other shows the very opposite of that. And I'm talking about how we treat each other that are covenant keepers. I'm not talking about how we treat each other, those who are not a part of the covenant. And even we should be kind to the strangers that have joined themselves to us. It should be never a time that we just going through the motions. Right. Jeremiah 12 and 2. I got two parts of this here. I want to read it in the New English translation as well. He says, thou hast planted them, yea. You remember that vine? He said, thou hast planted them, yea, they have taken root. They grow, yea. They're bringing forth fruit. and thou art near to their mouth, but far from their reins. And the word reins there is the word for inner man, soul, the mind, the heart. That's an idiom for the inner man, their thoughts, their intents, their motives. I'm going to read it this way, and I like this translation. It says it this way, and I'm going to read 1 and 2. Yahuah, you have always been fair whenever I have complained to you. However, I would like to speak with you about the dispensation of justice. Why are wicked people successful? Why do all dishonest people have such easy lives? You have planted them like trees, and they put down their roots. They grow prosperous and are very fruitful. They always talk about you. You see how they always get up and want to thank? I like to thank the Most High. I like to thank Yah. I like to thank, but they really care nothing about you. How would you know that? You can tell that by how they treat you. You can tell that by how they treat others. You can tell that by what they say about others. Heart far removed. Now I was reading, ever since Memorial of Mind has been started that series, and he's getting to these other books. It causes us to go exploring and reading and to see. And this is something that was interesting that came across, and I wanted to share it. The Apocalypse of Elijah. We know this is during the roughly about the 3rd century CE. Could be sooner, could be later, like 1st century or last century of the BCE. And it says this. I thought it was interesting, and I wanted to include it. He said, likewise, no one is able to enter the set apart place if he is what? Double-minded. The one who is double-minded in his prayer is darkness to himself. Even the Malachims do not trust him. Therefore, be single-minded in Yahuah at all times, so that you might know every moment. I wanted to bring these scriptures into bear because they, out of the canon that we use, they kind of mirror this. He says, no one who is double-minded in his prayer, the one who is double-minded in his prayers is darkness to himself. It says, Proverbs 15:8, the sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to Yahuah. Sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to Yahuah. That means the songs, the hand lifting, the prayers. It's not just animal sacrifice. This is because we don't do animal sacrifice right now. Our praise, our lifting of our hands, those things are an abomination from the wicked. But the prayers of the upright is delight. Proverbs 28:9. He that turneth away his ear from hearing the law, what? Even his prayer shall be an abomination. Double-minded. Double-minded. And like I said before, out of James, don't think you're going to get anything from Yahuah with a double-minded. If you don't trust him, you don't believe him completely. Always questioning, always seeking. All right. Out of the Dead Sea Scrolls, I thought this was interesting. I wanted to bring this in. So this is out of 1 QHA 12:7. I'm gonna do a little reading here. So, I seek you, and as an enduring dawn, as a perfect light, you have revealed yourself to me. But these your people go astray, for they flatter themselves with words, and mediators of deceit lead them astray, so that they are ruined without knowledge. For Their works are deceitful. For good works were rejected by them. Neither did they esteem me, even when you displayed your might through me. Instead, they drove me out of my land, like they did all the prophets, as a bird from its nest. And all my friends and acquaintances have been driven away from me. They esteem me as a ruined vessel, but they are mediators of a lie and seers of deceit. They have plotted wickedness against me so as to exchange your law, which you've spoken distinctly in my heart, for flattering words directed to your people. They hold back the drink of knowledge, which those who thirst, and for those their thirst, and for their thirst they give them vinegar to drink, that they might observe their error, behaving madly at their festivals and getting caught in their nets. But you, O Elohim, reject every plan of Balaam, and your counsel alone shall stand, and the plan of your heart shall remain forever. They are pretenders. They hatch the plots of Balaam. They seek you with a double heart. They have a different motive for seeking the Most High. We always have to check our motives for that, why we're doing it, and are not founded in your truth. A root producing poison and wormwood is in their scheming. With a willful heart, they look about and seek you in idols. The willful heart. They have set their stumbling blocks of their iniquities before themselves, and they come to seek you through the words of lying prophets, corrupted by error. With mocking lips and a strange tongue, they speak to your people, so as making a mockery of all their works by deceit, for they did not choose the way of your heart, nor attend to your word, but they said concerning the vision of knowledge, it is not sure. And concerning the way of your heart, it is not the way. But you, O Elohim, shall answer them by judging them in your strength according to their idols and the multitude of their transgressions, and in the that they have turned away from your covenant, might be caught in their own schemes. Double-mindedness, double-heartedness, the truth of the word, saying that, oh, that's not the right way. No, there wasn't no Mashiach. No, you can get on. You don't. All you need is the Torah. You don't need that other stuff is fake. No, you don't have to listen to that. And it's causing all this division in the body.
So it sounds like everything starts with the heart.
Oh yeah, starts with the heart. All right. And this was what the thing that caused me to go this route in the first place. I want to share this. Two mindsets, and we get to two-facedness. All coming from the heart. All right, this is from the book of the Patriarchs. All right. A copy of the Testament of Asher, the things he spoke to his sons in the 125th year of his life. While he was still healthy, he said to them, listen, children of Asher, to your father and I will show you everything that is right in the sight of Elohim. And Elohim has granted two ways to the sons of men, two mindsets, two lines of action, two models, and two goals. Accordingly, everything is in pairs, and the one over against the other. The two ways are good and evil. Concerning them are two dispositions within our breasts that choose between them. If the soul wants to follow the good way, all its deeds are done in righteousness, and every sin is immediately repented. Right? So when you want to follow the Most High and his ways, This is what they understood. This is what they understood, the ancients understood in ancient writings. That's why I'm just bringing it out as a historical point to show, to tie it all in. This is what they understood. If you want to do the right thing, you're gonna do your best. And if there's a sin that comes up, you're gonna repent of it immediately. You're not gonna let it fester. You're not gonna let it sit for months and months. You're not gonna wait a year or more. You're gonna get on it right then. Contemplating just deeds and rejecting wickedness, the soul overcomes evil and uproots sin. But if the mind is disposed towards evil, all of its deeds are wicked, driving out the good. It accepts the evil and it's overmastered by Bala, who even when good is undertaken, presses the struggle so as to make them aim for his action into evil. So that's the enemy's job. He said, sin lieth at the door. It's going to always lie at the door. It's going to always be a choice. It's never going to leave you alone until Yahuah removes it from the earth. How do you respond to it? That's the question. Since the devil's storehouse is filled with the venom of evil spirits, the soul, they say, may in words express good for the sake of evil. That's what they say. But the outcome of the action leads to evil. And there is a man who loves the one who does evil. Right? Now listen to this word love now. The one that loves evil. You've seen it many times, but you're probably just not thinking about it right now. Somebody does something wrong, but I love them anyway. They're robbing the bank, but I just love him. I just love her. They're committing all kinds of injustices, but I love them. There's a man who loves the one who does the evil, as he himself involved in evil. Because hey, I'm doing evil, they doing evil, I love it. We together. We ride and die. So that he would choose to die in evil for the evildoer's sake. I will lay down my life for this individual, even though we're doing evil. There are also two aspects of this, but the whole situation is evil. I want to tie this one in. Psalms 52 and 1 to 5. Why boastest thou thyself in mischief, O mighty man? The goodness of Elohim endures continually. Thy tongue deceiveth mischiefs, deviseth mischief, like a sharp razor working deceitfully. Thou lovest evil more than good. Thou lying rather than speaking righteousness. If you find yourself in that position, you need to go ahead and get it right. You need to change. You're on the wrong side. Thou lovest all devouring words. You love gossip. You love to hear the dirt. What's the scoop? What's the word? Tell me about it. As soon as you hear somebody did something, I got to know the dirt. Love devouring words. O thou deceitful tongue. Elohim shall likewise destroy thee forever. He shall take away thee and pluck thee out of the dwelling place and root thee out of the land of the living. So like I said, this is always going to be here until he does this. Continue on with the Asher. 4. Although indeed love is there, talking about the individual who loved this evil person or the person that's doing evil. The word love, right? The concept of love. Although indeed love is there, yet in wickedness is concealed, evil is concealed. In name, it is all as though it were good, but the outcome of the act is to bring evil. That's all it's for. It might, a person look like, oh, he's so wonderful, he's so this, but the person's doing wrong. The whole thing is wrong. The whole situation is evil. All right, Asher 2:5. Someone steals, deals unjustly, robs, cheats, but yet has pity on the poor, like Robin Hood, right? Robbing from the rich and giving to the poor. This also has two aspects, but is evil as a whole. He who cheats his neighbor provokes Elohim to wrath. He who serves falsely before the Most High and yet has mercy on the poor disregards Yahuah, who uttered the law's commands. He provokes him. So it goes back to that concept. How can salt water and sweet water or fresh water come out the same fountain? How are you going to do this dualistic nature? I'm a good person because I do this. I'm a good person because I do that. And we hear a lot of it. Well, I'm still a good person. I try to be a good person. Mm-hmm. He provokes him, and yet he alleviates the plight of the poor. They labor. Yeah, I steal from other people, but I help the ones that's in need. I help the needy. You know, or I got the homeless shelters, or I got the feed the hungry programs. But I'm stealing money from people. But I'm still doing good. Now I'm gonna make it more personal. When I was a kid, I used to take money out of my mom's purse. I was a thief, right? I was stealing. But you know what I do with that money? I go put it in an offering plate. Double-minded. Double-minded. You think you're doing something bad for a good reason. Mm-hmm. He defiles this, picking up at 7. He defiles the soul and takes pride in his own body. He kills many, yet has pity on a few. This also has two aspects, but the whole is as of evil. Someone else commits adultery and is sexually promiscuous, yet is abstinence is from eating. You know, they don't eat a whole lot, they kind of fast. And while fasting, he is committing the evil deed. Through the power of his wealth, he ravages many. And yet, in spite of all this excessive evil, he performs the commandments. This has two aspects, as if evil as a whole. Such persons are hares, because although they are halfway clean, in truth they're unclean. Right? The hare chews the cud, but doesn't have the right type of feet, hoof and cuffs. So it's still unclean. Being two-faced. Answer 3:1. But you, my children, do not be two-faced like them, one good and the other evil. Rather, cling only to goodness. So you want to put away those types of things, because in it Yahuah Elohim is at rest, and men aspire to it. Flee from evil tendencies, destroying the devil by your good works. For those who are two-faced are not of Elohim. You know, you're doing good on one side and evil on the other side. Can't make up your mind, double-minded. But they are enslaved by their evil desires, so that they might pleasing to Belaar and to the person like themselves. They're pleasing their master and to other people that like them. You know, like you say, birds of feather flock together. If you get along with the people at your job better than you get along with the people in the assembly, you might want to check that. If you get along better with people in the world and other places, but you can't get no kind of relationship with those that you fellowship with that are all a part of the covenant, you might want to check that. For the person who are good who are single-minded, even though they are considered by the two-faced to be sinners. And it's always that way. The one that's actually two-faced is always accusing the righteous of doing wrong. The one that's always wavering in their mind. They're always looking for a point of blame with those that are actually trying to walk it out. But they are really righteous before Elohim. For many who destroy the wicked perform two works, good and evil. But it is good as a whole because evil is uprooted and destroyed. Right? When he says something like that, Yahuah has sent us into many battles, Israel into many battles. And he said, destroy them all. They all belong to me. Destroy them all. The children, the women, as well as the men, the aged. He did not discriminate. But the whole thing was righteousness. It's up to you. Your choice, right? It's up to you to choose. Sirach 15:11. Say not thou, it is through Yahuah that I fell away. The reason I'm not with y'all right now, Yahuah, he the one that, he told me to move on. For thou oughtest not to do the things that he hated. Say not thou that thou hast caused me to err, for he has no need of a sinful man. If you left the body, and I'm not just talking about disassembly, but I'm just talking about you walk away, I'm just gonna do this by myself, I'm gonna sit at the house, I'm gonna study on my own. But yet you find yourself struggling in your behaviors. You don't have no need. He didn't tell you to move away. He gives us protocol on how to deal with each other within the assembly. To show love to one another, to be honest with one another, to forgive one another. This is something that's an ongoing process. Ongoing. That's not mean I'm not going to ever have a problem with any of my brothers or my sisters. Of course you're going to have situations come up. Misunderstandings. But we should have enough fear of Yahuah and love for him to follow his instructions on how to mend that relationship. Because the same way we want him to forgive us is the same way we should want to forgive everyone else. The same right relationship we want with him is the same relationship I want with everybody else. 13. Yahuah hateth all abominations, and they that fear Elohim love it not. He himself made man from the beginning and left him in the hands of his counsel. If thou wilt to keep the commandments and to perform acceptable faithfulness, he has set fire and water before thee. Stretch forth thy hand unto whether thou wilt. Before man is life and death. Whether him liketh, he shall be given. And you can go back to Deuteronomy 30 and 19 and you see the same thing. I've set before you life and death. Life and death. Choose your choice. And saying the same thing. You can choose righteousness or you can choose wickedness. But you have to make a choice. You can't stay halted between two opinions. To go along with that, James 1:12-15. Blessed is the man that endures temptation, for when he is tried. Somebody got the mic open. When he is tried, he shall fire and water. Stretch forth thy hand. Okay. All right. Got the mic open? Okay. Got it. Blessed is the man that endures temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life. For Yahuah has promised to them that love him. Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of Elohim. For Elohim cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempted he any man. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. Then when a lust has conceived, it shall bring forth sin, and sin, when it's finished, brings forth death. All right. Lot's double-mindedness. All right. Started Genesis 19:15. I know a lot of times we talk about his wife, but I want to show you something. It jumped out at me. All right. And when the morning arose, and when the Malachim and the angels hastened Lot, saying, "Arise, take thy wife and thy two daughters with thee, which are with thee here, lest thou be consumed in the iniquity of the city." And while he lingered, the men laid hold of his hand, and upon the hand of his wife, and upon the hand of his two daughters, and Yahuah being merciful unto him, and they bring them forth and set them without the city. And it came to pass, when they had brought them forth abroad, and said, "Escape for thy life. Look not behind thee, neither say thou in all the plains. Escape to the mountains." Now this is what they tell them to do. Escape to the mountains, lest thou be consumed. And Lot said unto him, "Oh, not so, my Adon. Behold, now thy servant hath found favor in thy sight. Thou hast magnified thy mercies, which thou hast shown unto me in saving my life. And I cannot escape to the mountains." Now they're telling him to escape. This is the word from the most. Escape to the mountains. He said, I can't escape to the mountains. Lest some evil take me and I die. So he said, okay. Behold, now there's a city that's near to flee unto, and it's a little one. Oh, let me escape thither. It is not a little one, and my soul shall live. And he said unto him, "See, I have accepted thee concerning this thing also, that I will not overthrow this city for the which thou hast spoken. Hasten thee, escape hither, for I cannot do anything until thou be come thither." Therefore, the name of the city was Zoar. So the sun was risen upon the earth when Lot had entered Zoar. And Yahuah began to rain upon Sodom and Gomorrah, brimstone and fire from Yahuah out of Shamayim. And he overthrew those cities and all the plains and all the inhabitants of the cities and that which grew up around the ground. But his wife, now we always know about this, but the wife looked back from behind her. She said, "Don't look back," and she looked back, and she became a pillar of salt because her mind was still back there. But look what Lot did. And Lot went up out of Zoar. Now he asked to go to Zoar. He went out of Zoar and left and dwelt in the mountains, and his two daughters with him, for he feared to dwell in Zoar. And he dwelt in a cave, he and his two daughters. Now, if you know the rest of the story, what happened after that? The daughters decided, hey, the world is just getting destroyed. We're the last people on earth. We need to raise some seed up unto our father. They end up getting him drunk, and wickedness comes out of it, out of his refusing to stay put. He asked to go and then changed his mind. No take backs. All right. Leviticus 27, 1 and 2. Then we'll drop down 9, 10, and then we're going to do 32 and 33. And Yahuah spake unto Moses, saying, "Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when a man shall make a singular vow, the person shall be for Yahuah by thy estimation." Verse 9. "And if it be a beast, therefore, men bring an offering unto Yahuah. All that any man such giveth of such unto Yahuah shall be set apart. He shall not alter it, nor change it, a good for a bad, or a bad for a good. He shall, if he shall at all change beast for beast, then the exchange therefore shall be considered set apart. So you're going to keep both of them. You're not going to do it. You're going to give me something, you're going to give me something else. All right, give me something else. But you can't take that back. No exchanging. And concerning the tithes of the herd, the flock where I passed under the rod, the 10th shall be set apart unto Yahuah. And he shall not search whether it be good or bad. Don't even look at it. Just whatever goes under there, that's for Yahuah. Neither shall you change it. For if you change it at all, then both it and the change thereof shall be set apart. It shall not be redeemed. So no change in your mind once you commit to Yahuah, once you commit something to Yahuah. If you said you're going to do something for Yahuah, you told Yahuah you're going to do something, you made a vow to him, you have to follow it through. If you want to add to it, you can, but you can't take back what you previously said. Thinking you're going to make a deal with him. No mixing concepts, right? Deuteronomy 22. He doesn't like mixed seed. We're talking about double-mindedness. Thou shalt not sow thy vineyard with diverse seed, lest the fruit of that seed which thou hast sown and the fruit of thy vineyard be defiled. If you're going around, let me just read the next one too. Ye shall keep my statutes. Thou shalt not let the cattle gender with device kind. Thou shalt not sow thy field with mingled seed. Thou shalt not, there shall a garment mingle with linen or woolen come upon thee. It's mixing, no mixing concept. So if Yahuah plants you in a place for you to grow and develop, and he gives you the things you need for that development, stay there and let it work in you. But if you're jumping from place to place to place to place to place, going here and there and everywhere, just trying to be entertained maybe, then you're defiling the product. It's not ever going to mature. It's never going to come to maturity. Right? You're going to choose one or the other. 1 Kings 18:20. So they have sent unto all the children of Israel and gathered the prophets together unto Mount Carmel. And Elijah came unto all the people and said, how long shall ye be halted between two opinions? If Yahuah be Elohim, follow him. But if Baal, then follow him. And the people answered him, not a word. So you have to choose. Is Yahuah? Is his word true? If you said Yahuah brought you somewhere or placed you somewhere, then stay there until Yahuah gives you clear signal to leave. And believe me, he will give you clear signal to leave. But if it's just you because you feel uncomfortable, you're not getting along, it's not, the people are not just, then you got to realize, wait a minute, there might be an issue I need to take care of. I need to be able to resolve it. An example of extreme mixing, that's what I called it. 2 Kings 17:24. The king of Assyria brought foreigners from Babylon, and Cutha, and Ava, and Haman, and Sepharim, and settled them in the cities of Samaria, in the place of the Israelites. And this is after Syria came down and drove out the Israelites, basically took them captive and scattered them abroad, all the Israel, the northern tribe. And he took possession of Samaria and the cities and lived in the cities. And when they first moved in, they did not worship Yahuah. So Yahuah sent lions among them, and the lions were killing them. And the king of Assyria told him, the nation whom you deported and settled in the cities of Samaria do not know the requirements of the Elohim of the land. So he has sent lions among them. They are killing the people because they do not know the requirements of Elohim of the land. So the king of Assyria ordered, take back one of the priests whom thou deported from there, that he must settle there and teach them the requirements of the Elohim of the land. So one of the priests whom they deported from Samaria went back and settled in Bethel. He taught them how to worship Yahuah. Now, in my mind, I'm trying to imagine how that teaching was, because they were already, the priests were already mixing doctrine as it was. That was the reason for them being expelled. But each of these nations made its own mighty ones and put them up in the shrines on the high places that the people of Samaria has made. So they continued on. They still had the high places. They went to using them. Each nation did this in their city where they lived. And the people of Babylon made Sukkoth, Benoth, and the people of Kanath made Nagral. The people of Haman made Ashim, and the Evites made Nebaz and Takar and Tarkat. And the Severites burned their sons in the fire as an offering to Adrimelech and Amalek, the mighty ones of the Sepharim. Now I'm trying to figure out, why is Yahuah allowing this? But I realized something. He said they were serving their mighty ones. I didn't make a covenant with this people. These are not my people. These are of another nation. I used them as a weapon to come in here to chasten the people that I have. So he's allowing this thing. At the same time, they worshiped Yahuah Elohim. They just began to acknowledge him. And they appointed some of their own people to serve as priests in the shrine of the high places. They were worshiping Yahuah at the same time, serving their own mighty ones in acceptance with the practices of the nations which they had been deported. To this very day, they observe their earlier practices, and they do not worship Yahuah. They do not obey the rules and regulations. And he's talking about Israel here. They do not obey the rules and regulations and laws and commandments of Yahuah, given to the descendants of Yaakov, whom he renamed Israel. He accepts certain things from the other nations, but those that are made covenant with him, he does not. He does not. Because they're doing this out of ignorance. We did it willfully, mixing Yahuah's the teachings of Yahuah. Yahuah made a covenant with them and instructed them. You must not worship other mighty ones. Do not bow down to them, serve them, or offer sacrifices to them. This is what he told Israel. This is what the whole nation. Instead, you must worship Yahuah, who brought you up from the land of Mitzrayim, Egypt, by his great power and military ability. Bow down to him and offer sacrifices to him. You must carefully obey at all times the rules and regulations, laws, and commandments he wrote down for you. You must not worship other mighty ones. You must never forget the covenant I made with you, and you must not worship other mighty ones. Instead, you must worship Yahuah Elohim. Then he will rescue you from the power of all your enemies. But guess what? They paid no attention. Instead, they observed their earlier practices. These nations were worshiping Yahuah. At the same time, they were serving their idols. Their sons and their grandsons are doing just as their fathers have done to this very day, as the time of the writing. And even now, just straight, no one's really serving Yahuah. You may have a few. But he doesn't want this mixing. He allows things for the other nations out of ignorance, but for those that say, I choose Yahuah to be my Elohim, he has given us specific instructions, and we are not to be mixing our worships. We're not to be worshiping, trying to mix other doctrines, other belief systems into the worship of Yahuah Elohim. Cleanse yourself. All right. Ezekiel 18, 30, 31, 32. Therefore I will judge you, O house of Israel, everyone according to his ways, says the Yahuah. Repent and return yourself from your transgressions, so iniquity shall not be your ruin. Cast away from you all your transgressions whereby ye have transgressed, and make you a new heart and a new spirit. For why will you die, O house of Israel? For I have no pleasure in the death of him that dieth, said Adon Yahuah. Wherefore turn yourselves and live. Say, make yourself a new heart and a new spirit. How does that work? Well, he says, well, having, Shaul said it very well, 2 Corinthians 2:1, because we're waiting for that ultimate. You want to see how serious you are. Are you going to make this effort towards back to him? Saying, Father, purge me of my sins, cleanse me of my iniquity. All the things that I've done, I don't want to be that way. Renewing me in right spirit, right? So having these promises, dear beloved, let us cleanse ourselves of the filthiness of the flesh and spirit, perfecting holiness, set apartness in the fear of Elohim. James said, submit yourselves unto Elohim and resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Draw nigh to Elohim, and he will draw nigh to you. Cleanse your hands, ye sinners, and purify your hearts, ye double-minded. So if you were double-minded, all you got to do is change your heart, change your mind, change the way you're thinking, change the way you're doing things, and say, I believe you, Father. I'm going to follow you straight on. And I talked about the tools for success, right? So he did not leave us without those tools, right? He had the prophets of old. We have the Torah. We had the laws of Moses. We had the judges. Even now, we still have. He has given us some apostles and some prophets and some evangelists, some pastors and some teachers for the perfecting of the called out ones, the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Mashiach, until we all come into the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of Elohim, unto a perfect man, a mature man, unto the measure and the stature of the fullness of Mashiach, that we henceforth be no more children tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine. This is how, when he places you in a place, sit there and learn. Take your time. Don't be in a rush to gain so much information and knowledge and trying to cram your head, because I guarantee you, you're not going to remember it all that way. But if you set your face like flint and say, I'm going to follow Yahuah all the way. I'm going to obey his statutes and commandments. I'm going to learn, glean everything that I can from those teachers and evangelists and prophets and apostles that he's put in your life. I'm going to learn everything that I can so that I can follow what he has, because then he'll begin to grow you. You'll begin to see the maturity in you. And how do you know when you're getting mature? You know you're getting mature when the little things that used to make you real mad real quick, that thing that used to be your pet peeve, when that thing don't bother you no more, especially when your brothers, you know that, okay, that person just doesn't know that, you quick to be, you're merciful with it. You give them the same mercy you want the Father to give you. You give them the same compassion you want the Father to give you. You give them the same patience. We always thank the Father for his patience and his kindness and his mercy and his love towards us as we're growing. And that's the same way we should be with each other. He says, speak the truth in love, may grow up unto him in all things, which is the head, even Mashiach, from whom the whole body is fitly joined together, compact, by which every joint supplies, according to the effectual working in the measure of every part, making increase of the body unto the edifying of itself in love. We're constantly building. We're constantly witnessing to others. We're constantly being an example. it's not about what you say a lot of times. It's about how you live. Your actions speak louder than your words. What people see about you is what they remember about you, not always what you say. Clean hands, heart, clean spirit. We're almost done. Psalms 24, 3, 4, 5. Who shall ascend into the hill of Yahuah? Or who shall stand in his set apart place? Who's going to do that? He that hath clean hands and a pure heart, who has not lifted up his soul unto vanity or sworn deceitfully. He shall receive blessings from Yahuah and righteousness from Elohim of his salvation. Our prayer. Create in me a clean heart, O Elohim, and renew a right spirit within me. Cast me not away from thy presence, and take not thy set apart spirit from me. Restore unto me the joy of salvation, and uphold me with thy free spirit. Then I will teach transgressors thy ways, and sinners shall be converted unto thee. Can't do that unless I have clean hands and a pure heart, a right spirit towards the Most High, not a double-minded or double-tongued, not alternate deceitful motives. And which is the last slide. Discipline of the heart and mind. Ezra 4 Ezra 14, 34, 35. If you then will rule over your minds and discipline your hearts, you shall be kept alive. And after death, you shall obtain mercy. For after death, the judgment will come, when we shall live again. And then the names of the righteous shall become manifest, and the deeds of the righteous be disclosed. And this should be your mantra, Joshua 24:15. And if it seems evil unto you to serve Yahuah, you got this double mind. If it seems evil to you to serve Yahuah, choose you this day whom you will serve, whether the mighty ones which your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood, or the mighty ones of the Amorites, in whose land ye dwell. Or should I say, wherever you're living, the lands where you dwell. But as for me and my house, we shall serve Yahuah. Hallelujah. Any questions?
Shalom, More. Shalom, More.
Yeah. Oh, I got how many mics you got open?
When
I can't hear you.
no, I had a microphone on. Hold on, let me go.
You got a whole bunch of mics open right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's my daughter was talking on the phone. There was a question that was like on I was reading in chat. You were speaking of no seed mixing and the question was like before the walk.
Everything we talk about is within the walk, right? So you didn't know anything about seed mixing before that.
No.
Right? So everything we do now, it's preparing us while we're here. We're walking this thing out. We've learned these things. So everything that happened before the walk, we've repented of. And as we learn, if we didn't repent of it because we didn't know about it, as we learn, we repent. As it comes to our minds, he brings it to us. We say, "Oh, Father, I didn't know. I forgot. I didn't know about that. Forgive me for this." And as he brings it to your remembrance. Because a lot of times we don't remember everything that we may have done or are doing, but everything that we do from the time we come into the knowledge of the truth, we know now it's being recorded. That thing is very sobering to say that, okay, from now on out, I know my actions mean something. Now I might do something out of ignorance, but I definitely not going to do something willfully, right? something might come up and I didn't know that was wrong. Or oh, Father, forgive me. But if I go out there and do something I know I shouldn't do, if I go out there and defraud my brother on purpose, right? If I go out here and I lie to you, and I deceive you on purpose, willfully, then Yahuah is going to hold me accountable for all that. Yeah. So anything you have now, anything you do from this point on is held accountable for. But I'm not really, I hope I answered that question, but I didn't see the question, so I don't.
Yeah, I think it was pertaining to race mixing, or if you were if you were like one race and the other person was another race.
The thing about it is we in America, that's a relatively new concept. We deal with nations. We're dealing with a nation. We're not dealing with individual people groups in the sense of skin colors and stuff like that.
So from now on, because we are in, we are in a different path. I think that person was asking in reference to we don't mix with other races, even though we are walking on this side, I should say. We don't mix.
I'm not certain about that. I know some people believe, want to hold to those that belief, but if a person is in the covenant, you know what I'm saying? What we did before we got in the walk is what we did before we got in the walk. We made a vow, a commitment to the people that we're with. If you love them, you have your family, continue to do that. And hopefully through your conversation, through your lifestyle, that could win that person over, because that's what the scriptures teach. That through
Can I chime in? It was my question. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm going to clarify. Because my question was in regards to race. My question that was answered by Morey Kanan a long time ago, and he explained it just like how you're explaining it. So Toda, thank you so much for bringing up my question. It was more like because I do tend to have a lot of the people that are around me are in Christianity, and I am now in the walk as much as I know how to be right now. It's a day-to-day thing. And so my thing was I'm asked to still pray with and commune and fellowship, not in a church building, but on a day-to-day. I mean, it's everywhere. So it's just like, it's really hard to determine how to live. I know you're not supposed to be a part of them, but you're supposed to be in the world, not of it. I understand that. But that was my question, was you're still going to have to encounter, but you answered the question as you went along with the slides. That's why I didn't bring it up again, because you answered the questions. You basically said that our actions it speaks louder than anything we can say or do. So when you said that, it gave me peace in that. So thank you.
Yes, yeah, because we're a light to everyone. We're even a light to ourselves when we technically think about it. We're a light one to another and to all that is called by his name. Some people may not know that they're called by his name until you are drawn to them, or the Father draws somebody to you, because a person don't know, and next thing you know, they hear the word and it pricks their heart, and the Father moves, or that seed is planted in them. And next thing you know, by the way that you walk, by the way that you share that information, your actions actually helps them out, and prayerfully they start to come over and learn the way.
Toda, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, and it was Naamana. It wasn't Miriam, so I don't want to get confused. Sorry.
Gotcha.
I apologize, Akuti.
Any other questions?
Yeah. I have a question. I'm looking in the chat, and it's referenced that you can't do any of that when you isolate yourself. Remember that. Can you expound a little further, whoever made the comment?
When you are seeking out this truth, you know, and like Maurice said, there are protocols in place to deal with certain issues that you may have. And I brought this up in the lesson that we had last week as well.
Mhm.
You know, you have to seek out those tools. And you can't get the help that you're looking for or get the answers that you're looking for when you're not, you know, doing your part. Remember, it said application is key. So if you think that, well, it's not working out my way, so I'm just going to do what I do, just like Maurice said, you know, if you're isolating yourself, you're not going to get the results that you're looking for. You know, you have to apply yourself. Yes, the Father wants to help you, but you still have to do your part. And sometimes it's just finding the right tools in order to help you. And that might mean talking to someone, either a moral or someone who you can confide in. But when you try to do these things on your own, you're not going to get the same results. All right. Any other questions?
So are you saying taking yourself away in isolation is not a good thing? I just need a definite answer there, because sometimes there are times where I do feel like I have to pull away and take myself away from all influence, from everything, just so I can hear the Father. But are you saying that is just not a way to do it?
Go ahead.
No. There are times where you have to have a relationship or a one-on-one with the Father. That's everyone. A lot of us study on our own, so to speak, and ask the Father for guidance as we study to show ourselves approved.
Mhm.
However, when you're dealing with, as a community, isolating yourself from the community wouldn't be good. So if we think about it as a family, sometimes they have a family, you know, they go out together and they have fun together. But then there's sometimes where, you know, in the family, you may go, or let's say a husband may go or a wife may go to go study by themselves sometimes, you know, and get this, you know, one-on-one with the Father. That's fine. But you wouldn't be isolating yourself all the time against your family. You still have to do that, or you wind up destroying your family at some point.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else?
I think not.
Okay. Vidar?
Do you have a cookie? Is he good?
I do have a quick question. I'm sorry. I'm super needy today.
No. This is the time.
Okay.
This is the time.
I do. I can't wait till Saturday to have to answer this question. So how do I just need maybe like a personal experience maybe to help me out. So how do you handle outside of the assembly, outside of the mishpachah that we normally commune with, how do you handle being around your family that you were born into, per se? Because there are times they have like family game nights and stuff like that, and a lot of the things, sometimes it goes well, sometimes it you know, some things will happen, you'll be like, okay, I probably could have gone my whole day without seeing that. And so how do you have a healthy balance in that without looking like the weirdo that has separated themselves, you know? I'm sorry.
Who was
you're
that?
you're going to be the weirdo. I mean, to be transparent. When I would go home and see my family, they would want to do things that I just don't. I'm like, I don't do that no more. And they were like, really? No, my whole life is centered around doing what the Father wants me to do. And there one time where I share one time my aunt wanted me to come to the house, and this was like, I want to say it was 2 days before Christmas. So I'm not thinking, you know, she's doing anything technically for Christmas or anything, you know. So I come to the house. She said, "Oh, nephew, how you doing?" I said, "Hey, auntie, how you doing?" She said, "I know you don't do Christmas. I know you don't do none of the holidays. Or you call them hellish days. But I just want to just give you a card, just to show that I care about you." And I said, "Oh, really?" I said, "Okay, well, let me read that card to you." So she read the card. "Oh, you know, nephew, I really enjoyed." But I told her, I said, "Auntie, I'm gonna be transparent with you." I said, "I'm gonna be transparent with you. I can't take the card." I said, "I know you mean well, but I can't take the card because, again, that would be me participating in something that I don't believe." I said, "So unfortunately, that if you'd have gave me a card, let's say, you know, beforehand," I said, "but you got the Christmas stuff all over it. So that tells me this is about Christmas. However, I can't do it." And she's like, "You know, that's what I'm saying is, you know, this is about doing good. This is about doing what's right." And I'm like, "Yeah, but if I seem like I'm participating in Thanksgiving and in Christmas and everything else, and even though you're not doing it on that same day, you're trying to, you know, kind of lure me into things that I don't want to do."
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "Oh, you know, you're weird." And she told me I was really weird. And I said, "Okay, well, how about next week? I tell you, hello, I love you, auntie. I think you're a good aunt. How about that? How about next month? I tell you that." I said, "Well, you still think I'm weird?" And she was like, "No, it's just this is." I said, "So why now? Like, why this particular time now are you doing this?" You know, I said, "So I can't be naive to what you're doing." So all that's just to say that there are some things that you're just going to be in their eyes weird, but to other people, such as the Father and other, you're a light. You know, you got to stick. If they're going to stick to their guns and their grounds as to what they believe to do and have fun with, you got to stick to yours as well. And then by you doing that, at some point, they'll either not invite you anymore, or they will start to say, "Well, okay, well, you know, maybe I need to see how this person acts, or not act, but see how this person believes. I'm willing to make amends with it. But you got to stay in your ground at all times, no matter what, even if it seems weird to them."
Mm-hmm.
Toda, thank you.
Mm.
Thank
Don't
you.
be a silly dove.
Mhm.
Be discerning. Discern what's happening around. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's
Okay.
amazing how they take offense to not doing the holidays anymore. It's like they take an offense. It's like an offense on them. Like, for instance, my daughter, I tell her I'm not celebrating, but then I'll come home from work and then there's some type of gift on the bed. You know, it's like they can't take it that we're not celebrating anymore. It's almost like they're addicted to it. I guess they are.
Tradition.
Mm-hmm. What my mama told me, I don't like. She said, "I don't like silly people." I said,
Yeah, I used to hear that. I didn't know what they mean back then, but I know what they mean now. You know, then when they say they have the Christmas spirit, I get it now.
"Yo, yo."
Wow.
I
Yeah.
don't think they get it.
So Maury, that's what it is then, is these are spirits that have attached to them. That's what you're saying? These are Christmas,
Right.
all this are spirits that have attached to
Hmm. Yeah, they were born in pagan. They were birthed in idolatry.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
So we
Yeah,
thank God being delivered from that.
yeah, it's good. You know, it's a process, and after a while, they'll realize that you don't celebrate these things anymore, and they'll leave you alone. But it is a process. It takes time. You just stand strong, stand in the Most High, stand your ground. They'll get the picture sooner or later. So it's good to be odd.
Odd man out.
Oh
Thank
yeah,
you.
it's good. So don't be discouraged. Don't. You stand strong in the Most High.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. It does. These gatherings, even though it's virtual, it means so much. And I am so grateful for all of you and the teachings, and just watching your tenacity and your drive, and your fervency, and how you guys just keep going and keep moving. And I'm just experienced maybe fraction of what you guys have experienced. It's just really, really encouraging. So please, please Do not stop. I'm sure I don't have to tell you that, but thank you so much.
You're
No
welcome.
worries. Even when we're in the land, we'll
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
doing it. Oh,
Can't stop, won't stop. To the end.
Might be on video, but you'll still get it.
Yeah.
Ray, I can taste that shawarma right now.
Oh,
Absolutely.
don't even talk about it. Oh,
All right now. All right.
I know we getting sidetracked because I'm thinking, oh,
Yeah. Come on back. Come back.
the land is on my mind.
Yeah, I got it.
All right. Anything else?
Just want to say thank you for another fine lesson. You guys never seem to stop hitting on every point that need to be hit on in this world. And I thank you with all my heart and soul. I pray that y'all keep blessing you because you guys are awesome. Thank you.
Yes.
Baruch Hashem.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
And every time I look at the picture from us fellowshipping, man, I tear up. I just see all the love and I feel the love and my spirit is with you guys. And I thank y'all forever in my heart for you guys.
Hallelujah. You might be telling y'all might need to move to Virginia. No, I'm just messing.
You never know what y'all may have planned for you.
I'm saving my move, Moray, for the land. I'm saving my move. My one move.
Yeah. I just want to move one time. One time.
One move.
All
Yeah,
right.
love you guys. Love you.
There you do, man.
All right.
I get I want to scoot a little closer. We can barely hear you.
He done went outside. He done went outside to the woods.
It got shaky.
You hear me?
Yeah, you found far away.
You
Can you
sound
hear me now?
far. There you go.
Now we get. Now we get.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Hallelujah. Yeah. Thank you, Yasharun, for that message. It was a very powerful message, and we just thank you, Yahuah, for it. Hallelujah. All right, let's go to the Father. Heavenly Father, in the name of your Son, Yahuah, we just come and we just thank you for the word that we heard today. Hallelujah. Now, Father, we just pray that we just kind of just think about what we've heard today and think about the fact that you despise that double mind and that we need to be sure and be absolute and be determined, fixed on you, fixed on your word. The word tells us, let Yahuah be true and let every man be a liar. So we thank you, Father, for your word, the word that we heard today, and that we will apply it to our lives so that you can get all the esteem, the honor, and the praise. Now, Father, as I conclude this prayer, I just want to pray this prayer that comes from Numbers chapter 6, and it says, Yahuah bless you and guard you. May Yahuah make his face to shine upon you and show favor to you. May Yahuah lift up his face upon you and give you peace. Yahuah pray. Hallelujah. Amen and amen.
Now, coming out of your double-mindedness, then you're gonna have to learn how to be humble.